Hi, I'm Jackie Cranny with my colleagues Sue Morris and Jenny Richmond. Thanks for attending our talk. Firstly, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of lands on which we are located, the Bagamble and Bejigal peoples. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and embrace opportunities for truth-telling, reconciliation and the celebration of First Peoples knowledge. The current work is couched within the framework of psychological literacy. This paper describes a multifaceted transdisciplinary initiative to promote curricular approaches to supporting students' success and well-being, drawing on psychological theory and evidence-based practice. See the Healthy University's website. We take a positive framing in our work, creating a learning supportive curricular environment and providing opportunities for students to improve self-management capacity. So you can see the structure of the presentation there. So why should we as educators care about student well-being? Isn't that the domain of student support services? Well, here are some reasons why we might, and I'll just highlight the last. Student evaluations will be affected by how much we as educators appear to care about students' academic success and well-being. And of course, student evaluations can impact educator well-being, for example, with promotion. So how do we implement evidence-based curricular approaches to student success and well-being? The complete state model of mental health has two correlated but distinct dimensions: psychiatric disorders and psychological well-being. Many of our students are in the lower right quadrant, number 2, just surviving. What is common for all students is their engagement with the curriculum. Thus, a major role for educators is to create learning supportive environments that lead to success and thus thriving. In effect, this means moving students from the lower quadrants to the upper quadrants. And educators can do this, for example, by applying self-determination theory. A learning supportive curricular environment is based on evidence-based principles for curriculum design and delivery. For example, one example is self-determination theory, and its application in higher education is demonstrated by a great project that you can find at unistudentwellbeing.edu.au. One tenet of self-determination theory is that there are 3 basic psychological needs: relatedness, competence, and autonomy. And the satisfaction of these needs leads to increased well-being. Some examples of how this plays out in curricular contexts are indicated in this slide. So, learning supportive curricular environments promote student motivation and engagement, as well as effective study effort. This results in the achievement of realistic and meaningful academic goals, and thus personal academic success. This goal achievement results in the satisfaction of basic psychological needs, which then increases well-being. This is a cyclical process and upward spiral. So how does this translate to program and unit curricula? Over to Jenny and Sue. First, Jenny will describe how evidence-based self-management resources integrated into the learning management system Moodle are being signalled in an automated, just-in-time way to students. Secondly, Sue will describe specific units on the science of self-management, academic success and well-being.
One way that we have been implementing this wellbeing framework within the curriculum in the School of Psychology at UNSW is by developing a section of self-management related resources that are designed to promote success and well-being. Within our own courses, we have found that students are most likely to engage with these resources when the course coordinator uses links to particular resources that might be useful in a just-in-time kind of way. coordinators might link to goal setting and time management resources in week 1 and 2, feedback and procrastination resources in week 6 and 7, and study skills and exam anxiety-related resources in week 10 and 11. While curating resources in a just-in-time kind of way has worked well within psychology courses, we are looking to include the Moodle book in the new science faculty-wide Moodle template, and so this term have been experimenting with using the personalised learning designer tool to send automated prompts to students, pointing them towards relevant resources at certain times during the term. We tried the personalised learning designer approach in our large first-year courses with a total enrolment of more than 900 in Term 2. The Moodle book was prominently positioned at the top of the Moodle page with a button that linked to it in the sidebar. Once students opened the book, CSS styling made for a clean aesthetic and easy navigation. The Personalised Learning Designer tool allows you to pre-program email messages and/or alerts to be triggered given certain conditions. This term, we used it to automatically send a welcome email to all students, which highlighted the Moodle book and other support resources on campus. We programmed 3 additional pop-up messages to appear as students logged into Moodle in week 3, week 5, and week 10. These auto alerts encourage students to check out the Moodle book for resources about goal setting and time management, for resources that might be useful during Flexibility Week, and for resources about switching focus to exams and developing study skills. We included an option for students to give feedback about how useful and/or annoying the prompts were, and analysed Moodle logs to determine whether these automatic prompts had any impact on students' engagement with the book. Although relatively few students completed the feedback tool, those who did and said that they had seen the auto alerts largely agreed that they found the alerts to be useful and disagreed that the alerts were annoying. Moodle log analysis showed that engagement with the book was high in O week and week 1, presumably due to the emails sent to everyone enrolled. Engagement tapered off dramatically from week 2 onwards, but there are blips in chapter views that coincide with the auto alerts that were programmed in week 3, week 6, and week 10 and 11. Although this data suggests that auto alerts did result in increases in engagement, a relatively small number of students overall engaged with the Moodle book. Only 36% of students enrolled opened the book at least once during the term, suggesting that while some students voluntarily engage with co-curricular resources, most do not. We do not yet know whether the students who engage are the ones who really need to develop their self-management skills. It is likely that linking self-management activities to assessment more directly is more effective in encouraging engagement by all students.
So speaking of accessible activities, there are plenty of those in our wellbeing units. Our underlying philosophy for these units is derived from the psychological literacy framework, where psychological knowledge is applied to the personal domain, leading to greater self-knowledge, self-management and self-development. Essentially, our aim was to provide students with opportunities to acquire evidence-based tools to optimise success in learning, professional development and in their personal lives. In 2014, we developed a flipped classroom unit that was highly rated by students and peers. In 2018, we published our Rubber Brain book, which we now use as a textbook in that unit, and formed the basis for the 2019 delivery of a fully online unit, which is our current focus. Each 2-week module focuses on different chapters in the Rubber Brain. Module 1 includes cognitive fallacies, the experimental method, and self-knowledge. Module 2 focuses on motivation and competencies particularly relevant to being a student. Module 3 focuses on emotional regulation, a tough one for students. Module 4 focuses on positivity, relatedness, and another tough one, the moral brain. Each module has accessible self-directed tasks, there's a final exam, and there's an individual assignment that involves creating a highly structured short video on one strategy from the Rubber Brain. Here are some examples of the topics that students explore in their video assignment, from goal setting to mindfulness and many more. Here you can see an evaluation of the courses we've been offering. The yellow bars are the flipped face-to-face classroom unit, which hasn't been offered recently because of pandemic shutdowns. The pink bars are the totally online unit. The blue line you see is the mean for all UNSW units, regardless of delivery modes. Although initially the very interactive face-to-face course was clearly the preferred model, what we found is the online mode was gradually getting there, and the most recent evaluation for Term 2 2021, which we just got, we see the mean has matched the highest flipped classroom unit mean. The star is the rating for an additional question that we asked about the relevance of the course to students, and clearly we can see the students see value in this unit. So while we and students generally prefer face-to-face and the increased relatedness that provides them, there are other advantages to the online delivery format, and this material seems particularly appreciated during the continued pandemic lockdowns. And here you can see some feedback from our most recent online offering, which is really very encouraging.
Finally, here is a summary of some of the different level strategies that we have been attempting at UNSW in our multifaceted transdisciplinary initiative to promote curricular approaches to supporting student success and wellbeing drawing upon psychological theory and evidence-based practice. They range from draft university-wide policy to practical examples being used by course conveners, all of which you will find on our Healthy Universities website. When it comes to student wellbeing, we believe it is best to share practice. Feel free to contact us if you'd like further information. Thanks for listening.